Oakland. So we just finished this car, which I bought as a shell, and it looks fucking sick. The CEs, it's probably making, I'd say 350, probably 350, maybe 400. It's just been street tuned, but it's gonna be on ethanol and shitty California gas. N1 headlights, AC all redone. And we did a different intercooler pipe kit here. We did the Greddy that you saw on Bowman's and Rudnick's, but we opted to, the customer who's got his back to us bothered me about this and didn't want him to neck down. So we went with the ones that don't neck down, which we like to experiment, and they don't fit. Nothing really fits perfect because these smaller allow for a different cone, and these are ugly. So we put some HKS elements inside the Greddy housing because these are normally yellow and that's too much. Realistically, if I could go back and wanted to really make this perfect, I would find the same diameter piping and maybe like some degree, I don't know what, I'm not good with degrees, maybe 60, and I'd start it to go down because you can see all the space under here is unnecessary. So I'd weld them two on, tip these down a little bit, and then be able to run the big Greddy black filters. But this is a very minimalistic, simple setup. It's got the vibrant catch can in the old evap canister location. I don't know, it's tough. Catch cans are always tough with these. There's a lot packed into a small space here, so I don't know. We got the Prius battery that was hitting. We didn't realize we couldn't close the hood. Finally we were able to close the hood by moving it over just a touch, and we got a towel under there. We need to get the plastic tray, but this is pretty dialed. It's got the 33 Brembos, the CE 17, 10, 22. Interior is so good on this thing. The whole car is actually really clean. This steering wheel just slays. No dash bubble. I bought this car from Pennsylvania, blown up, sold it, and did the whole build. Josh and Clinton slayed this thing. It looks perfect. And it runs really good. I just took it for a ride. So tomorrow, he's got a full tank of gas right now. He's gonna drive it around. It's here for a couple days. Just running it through its paces so I don't have to. And tomorrow, he's going to drive it, put some miles on it, and then we'll swap over to ethanol and start the street tuning process. Eventually get it on a dyno before it goes to California. He's not in any rush. He just wanted to come out, hang out, test drive the car, and it's kind of perfect for us because I don't have to then. Put in the comments what you think of this thing. It's very tasteful. All right, this is a sight for sore eyes. If you didn't know, we have a bittersweet scenario happening here. Sold the 270R kind of a while ago. I was talking about selling it to restore it and do everything I wanted to do. Just it's not in the cards, and I have someone who's going to treat it and use it much more than me, so we decided to sell it. However, since day one, it's been on the wrong wheels. I sourced the correct wheels with a little spice to them, and I'll show you those. But we are now going to swap from the SSRs to the factory style wheel. So not supposed to really be white. I was going to refinish them, but I'm just going to throw them on the car. These are the factory style wheels, and I say style because they're not the actual factory wheel. I believe all right, so I got to back up even more. Factory style would make it seem like they're knockoffs. They're not knockoffs. Nismo made the NSO5s, which are what these are. On the 270R, I believe they came 16.7 with some weak-ass offset. I sourced a set of 17.9, forget the offset, 30, I believe, which is 33 GTST spec. I sourced those because they would fit and look much cooler on the car. Unfortunately, they're white, like I said. They should be silver, but they're not. Someone painted them at some point in their life. That door makes crazy noises. So, to swap those on, get the SSRs off, we have to put whatever factory stuff was supposed to be on the car, and then it's gonna leave. But I just wanted to throw these on so I could do something. So, oh, it's 17,925. That's what it is, 17,925. So that's sick. These are gonna look pretty aggressive, I'd say, on that car, for a factory car and a factory wheel. I'm stoked on the OEM Plus Resto Modi aspect of it because I thought these looked junk, but the 16.7s or maybe they're 17.7s, I don't know. Whatever was on them, those look weak too. I think if the new owner refinishes those in the factory silver, gets the center caps, puts them on this car, it will just look just a little bit more right. I don't hate these SSRs, but they're definitely not correct. Look who it is. FedEx rolling up. Thing's monster trucking. Sorry. Fucking send it. Front's good. This thing actually looks fucking sick. So they're 17,925. They're really flush. It's actually like poking a little, but we're on like positive camber and a little toe in. I kind of wish I ran it like this the whole time. The white is a little much, but in gray with the right tire, this thing's gonna look phenomenal. I think the front maybe just needs to go lower and get the camber out, but it's pretty flush. I don't know. Put in the comments what you guys think. I think this looks gnarly. All right, so continue with the shop update. Our boy Yuri from Wiring Specialties wanted us to pretty up and complete a project that he's been working on. He said he started in 1999. So Yuri's an OG. He's been doing the wiring harness shit forever. Wiring Specialties saves our ass on the reg. They pretty much, I've said it before, are the reason swaps in JDM cars exist. Yeah. Like, if 1 out of 1,000 people could wire this stuff, you wouldn't have as many. Like, I guess it'd be kind of cooler because you'd see a lot more like unique stuff. It wouldn't just be the norm, but at the same time you'd get like 240s with KAs in them still.
Well, everyone would be mega squirt still.
Yeah, that sucks. So Yuri brought us an RB30. He said it's almost a 3.2 liter currently. And then just to give you a visual, we've got an RB26 here. So the first thing you'll notice, the main difference between these two is the deck height. I think it's an inch. I think it's like 20 something millimeters. And the first visual instance of that you and I can see would be the head usually sits right above the water pump. It's tough because there's stuff on here, but
literally
there's the head. Yeah, that's the deck. So you can't see it in here, but that's the same height. You've got a solid inch, 2 fingers there, but I think it's more visible on the rear. If you look here, this is where your transmission bell housing bolts to. These are the 2 top bolts. The head, I mean, it's touching. Your transmission is flush with the head, so you can see that. And the engine stand is in the exact same place that the transmission will go. Here's the same area. So this bolt, normally in the GTR RB26, the head is here. There's 2 fingers. That's. I think that's more than an inch.
That's fucking massive.
It's massive. So your transmission bolts here, but now you have this gap here. So this is our first RB30 we've had here. It probably will be our last. I don't love them. I don't like the modifications you need to go through in order to use them in an all-wheel drive application. Yuri has this in a gangster Koki S14. I haven't seen it in years, but it's clean. So in rear-wheel drive form, this is fine. If you want to run this in anything, I'm not going to talk shit. But in a GTR, when you could just go 2.8. There's no reason, in my opinion, to go 30.
Yeah.
Especially with all the negatives. So one of the big negatives that I can show you, this is an all-wheel drive oil pan, bolts to an all-wheel drive block. These blocks didn't come all-wheel drive, so you can't just bolt the all-wheel drive oil pan to it. You need an adapter that allows that. That adapter is 14 millimeters. And if you know anything, you'll know that your bell housing bolts go through your oil pan. So now what do you think happens if you have bell housing bolt here and a bell housing bolt here, but you have a 14 millimeter spacer in between the block and the oil pan? What do you think happens?
Well, a lot of things that are annoying as fuck. Because think about 14 millimeters there, but then you have, over an inch here.
Right.
It's just fucking.
So now it's too low to the, too close to the ground.
To every component.
Too close to the ground. Too close to the hood. But not only that, you have to remake these holes or not use them. I don't like that. Even though it's probably perfectly fine, I just don't like that. I don't want to see a hole.
Like the people that do this are making well over $1,000.
Yeah, they're doing it because they need to. But
they're the badass.
I think,
that talk shit.
yeah, I think 2.8s are plenty for street cars. And I asked Yuri, I said, if you could do this all over again, would you? He said, absolutely not. He wouldn't do any of this. But realistically, in 1999, this would be like a cheap way to get power, I'd say.
That's what makes
torque.
This cool to me.
Well, I think it's funny because Yuri owns a place that swaps wiring harnesses. He should have just 2J'd.
Yeah, or Neo.
Yeah, I would Neo.
Neo
At this
is
point, for what Yuri's going for, all he needs is a Neo. But regardless, he went down this road. So a lot of negatives to going into an S chassis. A lot of negatives keeping it twin turbo. A lot of negatives being an RB30. This is, at this juncture, the worst setup, but he needs to see it through for a personal goal of his own. He was here today, dropped off all his modified parts and stuff, and over the next couple of weeks, months, years, we are going to get this thing pretty. Then he'll bring the shell. We'll put the engine in the shell, paint the bay, do all that, and then he'll take it back. But I just thought it'd be cool to show you guys the visual differences that we could see on hand. This is just crazy. It's crazy how obvious it is.
Yeah. If you've ever done like an RB in an S chassis or mocked it up or whatever, like you know how annoying it is in itself to have it good. It's easy to work. Like everybody fucking does RB20 swaps, whatever. But like to have it be good.
Yeah, this is gonna be even harder. The water pump needed to be modified because there's not a hole for this bolt, and this just so happens to be the bolt that leaks all the time. The timing belt is proprietary to this because of the 30 mil height. So on both sides of the timing belt, you have an inch here and an inch here. A factory timing belt or factory spec timing belt wouldn't work. There's so much that goes into this that take me out of the running for it, but
it's so funny because it has what, like, did you say like it had 8 miles?
8 miles.
And since '99, and look at it, like it looks like it's like a swap engine just from sitting like in a place. It's wild.
Sucks.
It dated itself.
So with that being said, that's kind of the end of our shop update. It's starting to get cold. We're starting to get a little. We're not opening the door and stuff. We've got this car going down right now. We have that car. We're waiting for the engine to come back from the machine shop, which should be here soon. We have this engine that's coming out of a special car. This thing we just hit a huge milestone on, so stay tuned for that video. We got a lot of shit going on, and we've got a surprise car that we've been working on since April being given away this Sunday, Saturday night at midnight. It begins. It ends January 1st. I think you guys are going to like this car. I think you're going to love it. So stay tuned for that. Be ready for Sunday. Be ready for the drop Sunday. Some stuff is going to sell out. But this giveaway car is unlike, and I know I say this often, but each one is unlike the last one. This is unlike anything we've ever done. So get stoked, and we will see you guys tomorrow and Sunday. Bye.